Welcome to Speak, Think, Serve, the blueprint for growth without burnout. Sharpen your words, strengthen your mind, and serve with intention.
Have you ever noticed how the most confident people in the room aren't always the loudest or even the most prepared? Sometimes it's the person who just quietly steps up, does the thing, and suddenly everyone's looking to them. I was thinking about this after reading a Harvard Business Review piece on how confidence isn't some magical trait you're born with. It's built, brick by brick, through action, tiny wins, rituals, and by just showing up for your own life.
Yeah, I love that. It's like you don't get confidence by sitting around waiting for it to show up. You get it by doing the work, even if you're not sure you're ready. There's this self-efficacy theory from Albert Bandura. He basically says confidence grows from mastery experiences. So every time you do something, even if it's small, you're stacking up evidence that you can handle it. And I mean, the research backs it up. Time and HBR both have written about how rituals, like a pre-meeting routine or a quick check-in with your team, help build that confidence muscle over time.
Exactly. And, I've seen this play out in my own life. There was this one HR mediation I had to lead, lots of tension in the room. I was honestly terrified. But I'd done the prep. I had my little ritual. Deep breath, quick mantra, you've got this. And then I just did it. It wasn't perfect, but I handled it. And after, I realized, wait, I can do hard things. That one experience changed how I saw myself in every tough situation after that. It's like every time you step up, you're teaching your brain, hey, I can handle this.
That's so real. And it's not just about the big moments either. It's those small daily wins, like sending the email you've been avoiding or volunteering to lead a quick stand-up. Those add up. And if you're telling yourself, I'm the kind of person who follows through, you start to believe it. It's not hype, it's science. You build confidence by doing, not by waiting for some mythical feeling of readiness.
Right, and I think that's a perfect segue into what we're talking about next, because action is where the magic happens. Not just thinking about it, but actually moving, even if your knees are shaking.
So let's dig into this idea of action bias. Just physically stepping forward or being the first to volunteer actually shifts how people see you and how you see yourself. You don't have to feel ready, you just have to move. And that movement, even if it's tiny, sends a signal to your brain and to everyone else that you're someone who takes ownership.
That reminds me of this story. Jackson, the intern, he's in this room with 9 execs, right? He's supposed to just observe, but then the director asks this big question and everyone goes silent. Jackson almost stays quiet, but then he just speaks up, offers a perspective they hadn't seen. And after the VP tells him, it takes courage to speak up in a meeting like that. He wasn't confident, he just acted like the person he wanted to be. That one moment rewired his self-belief. It's such a perfect example of courage before readiness.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people listening are probably wondering, okay, but how do I find those small, scary actions to practice? I'd say it's usually the thing you're avoiding. The email you haven't sent, the idea you want to pitch, the meeting you could lead. Start there. And if it feels too big, break it down. Maybe your ritual is just saying, I'll handle it in the mirror before work. Or like posting in our community, tomorrow I'm going to tackle X before it's my turn.
And language helps too. As we talked about in our last couple episodes, the words you use, like clarify, commit, align, can make action feel more natural. Even just saying, I'm willing to try out loud can shift your mindset. And don't underestimate the power of community. When you see someone else step up, it's contagious. That's social modeling, and it's a huge part of how we build self-efficacy, according to Bandura and, a lot of the research out there.
Totally. And look, you don't have to be perfect. The fear doesn't go away, but when you move anyway, it gets quieter. That's how you build real, unshakable self-trust. It's not about faking it till you make it. It's about acting like it's yours, even if you're scared. That's how growth actually happens.
So let's talk about what this looks like at the highest levels. When you look at what CEOs and top coaches actually value, it's not just technical skill, it's decisiveness, adaptability, reliability, the courage to execute under pressure. Harvard Business Review, Center for Creative Leadership, they're saying the same thing. The people who stand out are the ones who step up, own their outcomes, and do it with integrity.
Yeah, and the best leaders aren't just checking boxes, they're authentic. Authors Kouzes and Posner talk about modeling the way, encouraging others, enabling action, challenging the status quo, and inspiring a shared vision. Bill George calls it true north. being rooted in self-awareness and consistency. That's what makes people want to follow you, not because you're perfect, but because you're real and you show up, even when it's hard.
That's so true. And Miles, I know you've got a story here. You left management consulting to coach people who didn't take the traditional path. That's proactive ownership and authenticity in action, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the big firm track, but I kept seeing people burn out, smart, capable folks who just needed someone to believe in them and give them a shot. So I left, started working with non-traditional learners, and honestly, it was scary. But every time I helped someone land a job or lead a team, it reinforced that confidence comes from doing, not just thinking about it. And that's what I want for everyone listening. Don't wait for permission. Take ownership, even if you're scared. That's how you become the leader people trust.
And that's the heart of it. Authentic leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to act, to adapt, and to bring others along with you. So, as we wrap up, here's our challenge. Don't just listen. Do. Pick one small, scary thing and own it this week. Post about it in our community, share your wins, and support someone else who's stepping up. That's how we all get better.
Yeah, and don't wait for the perfect moment. The action items. They're what make this stick in the real world. So be the first to raise your hand, try the micro ritual, or just say, I'll handle it. And if you want to connect, jump into the comments, share your story, cheer someone on, or challenge yourself to volunteer for something scary this week. We're watching and we're rooting for you.
All right, that's it for today. Keep building, keep acting, and we'll see you in the next chapter.
You've been listening to Speak, Think, Serve, the blueprint for growth without burnout. Remember, ideas don't change things. Action does.